Welcome to all the viewers joining us for this preview, which will be for the final day of January. It'll be the 31st of January, Kenilworth Racing, Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, Tuesday, 31st of January. Lovely to have Graham Hawkins on the line. Welcome, Graham. And after the weekend's racing, top class.
Yeah, good day, Sheldon. Nice to be chatting with you again. What a day on Saturday. What a finish to the WSB Met. What a swan song for both Jet Dark and for Comedy Ding. To see those two old warriors fighting it out was a joy to watch, an absolute joy to watch. It was a day when we got most things right, but not all things right. Obviously a big turnout for the books in the juvenile feature, but for the rest, it seemed to go pretty much according to plan.
Let's get straight into the first race. It's a 9-race program, so the exotics will commence in race number 2. They're going to bring up the slide for race 1. The favourite is number 3, Kennedy, at 15-10. 2 first-timers, second favourite at 5-2, number 6, Enemy Territory, and number 10, Jade Cabernet. In the first race, Graham, the unraced horses, they'll obviously have to be taken on their well-being. But number 3, Kennedy, that was a very promising introduction over the 1,000-metre trip.
Was a promising introduction, ran third behind Rock and Tommy. There have been no direct winners from that form line, which is a bit of a worry. And Sheldon, to be quite frank, I'm still a little concerned about the form of the Andre Nel stable here in Cape Town. They've had a couple of winners here, but they've had many disappointing runners as well. So it's hard to know what to expect from Kennedy, but you would expect it to improve on its debut. But I think the key to the outcome could be the 2 first-timers, number 6, Enemy Territory, which is an interesting runner because daughter of Canford Cliffs, but bred to Northern Hemisphere time. So she is a little bit behind the others in terms of maturity. And, of course, number 10, Jade Cabernet, has got a wonderful pedigree, although Peter Muscat comments that she might prefer further. Richard Faree is a significant jockey booking. So this is not a race that's going to take a lot of winning. Both number 8, Servilius, and number 9, Captain Casanova, have their first run as geldings. They were recently gelded. They could suddenly show improvement because Servilius was fancied to go well on debut, went backed and then disappointed in its next start and was gelded immediately thereafter. So it's not part of the exotics. Kennedy must be the one to beat, but the betting will be the best guide as to what is expected of the 2 first-timers.
Let's kick off the exotics. The bipod commences in race number 2, so 13:15 will be the time to get those bets on over 1,400 metres. Number 2, Rosh Kadesh, the son of Vercingetorix from the Dean Kanemayer outfit, was seen out 17 days ago. And Graham, when you look at the support for this individual, they expected him to win.
They did expect him to win. He steps up in trip from 1,200 to 1,400 metres. He's got a good draw. The Keegan DeMello, Dean Kanemayer combination in very good form. They landed a grade 1 over the weekend. And so you have to believe that Rosh Kadesh is going to show a lot of improvement. This is the first leg of the bipod, but it is a competitive race. If Rosh Kadesh doesn't show the expected improvement, then there are many with chances. Number 6, the Wolf of Wolseley, is going to appreciate stepping up to the 1,400 metres, and suddenly that run behind USA's Hope, given the latter's performance over the weekend, is not such a bad effort. So big run from the Wolf of Wolseley, and I've certainly throw at least both numbers 2 and 6 into the first leg of the bipod. And then number 11, Marshall Field, also has 2 good runs behind its name, and Charlie Croker, that ran well over the weekend, so that form has been kind of franked. So I'm going to play it safe here. I'm going to go all of numbers 2, 6, and 11 in the first leg of the bipod. But I am expecting Rosh Kadesh to win. Watch for improvement from number 1, Laughing William. That's one to consider for trifectas and quartets.
And then number 3, Prometeria, the son of Pomodoro, has changed stables from the Dean Kanemayer stable to the Vaughan Marshall outfit, so they'll have a good line. Just judging by the support he's found, he's been quite disappointing on the whole.
He has been disappointing. He hasn't run since the 12th of November. He could need this run. The betting, again, he's got a very nice pedigree, and he's got a pedigree that Vaughan Marshall knows well. So expect improvement from number 3, Prometeer. The betting may be the best guide to his chances.
Taking us on to race number 3. This will be over the 2,000-meter trip, where number 1, Salukwe, is 22-10. Number 6, Madison Blues, 5-2. 9, Autumn Moon, 7-2. Now, we're touching about the Andre Nel stable. Number 1, Salukwe, has got some fair runs in the bank, has run behind the likes of Rockpool to a short head, and then last time out behind Montien. But there's that slight concern, the stable. They are running a little bit hot and cold at the moment. Where will you be leaning in race number 3?
Very, very tough race. This is the first leg of the place accumulated. It's one of these maiden special weights races over 2,000 meters, so we've become expectant of surprise results. Yeah, so Luque obviously stands a favourite's chance, but I'm going to be in the camp of number 6, Madison Blues. I think he's starting to come to hand. He's a 3-year-old son of Vercingetorix. He should have plenty of scope for further improvement. If you go back to that run behind Rockpool, which was on the 5th of November. On that occasion, obviously, Salukwe finished comfortably clear of Madison Blues. But Salukwe hasn't really gone on with it, and one gets the feeling that Madison Blues is starting to get the hang of things. And Keegan DeMello, again, is a significant jockey booking for the Eric Sains-trained Madison Blues. But it doesn't end there. I wouldn't be surprised to see Run Rudolph run well at these weights. Donda Storm is consistent, has a chance. As does number 9, Autumn Moon. But I expect the outcome to rest between numbers 1, Salukwe, and 6, Madison Blues. But I'm marginally in the camp of number 6, Madison Blues.
There you heard from Graham, Madison Blues. We're taking a little bit of a chance there and including that with Salukwe and all your perms as we head on to race number 4, which is over 1,600 meters. The opening leg of the pick 6, 14:25 is the time that you'll need to get your bets on. Numbers 7 and 8 look to be dominating the betting, with number 3 Beyond the Boundary. Not much separating them, and these are the 3 horses at the top of the boards. I'm going to go with a roughie here, Graham. What do you make of number 5, Chalima? When you look at the best weighted column, he's joint best weighted. He's dropping down to a mile. I know he's been very disappointing, but I just think at around 10-1, one of these days the right Chalima will rock up.
That could certainly happen. In fact, if you go back in his form line, way back to the 24th of April last year when he ran over 1,600 meters, and that was the last time he raced over 1,600 meters, he was 3rd behind Gem King, beaten only 2 lengths. And on that sort of form, he's got to have a chance. But he's obviously not one that you can trust. But you're entitled to look for an upset. At first glance, as you say, it looks a 3-corner contest between Beyond the Boundary, Give Me a Star, and Future Swing. Give Me a Star's got 62 to carry and hasn't run since July. So I'm leaning towards, of those 3, I'm leaning towards the fitter horses, number 3 Beyond the Boundary and number 8 Future Swing. But like you, I also fancy a bit of a roughie. I think Spring High's got to run better than it's run in its last 2 starts. It is a bit of a worry that he's made a respiratory noise in his last 2 starts. But this is his peak run in the Western Cape season. He ran on the 11th of December, then on the 21st of January, has his 3rd run after the rest. His form over 1,600 meters is impeccable. He knows what it is to win. He's a 5-time winner. He's very, very useful at best. So you're looking to Chalima. I'm looking to Spring High. So I'm going to certainly include both of those along with the 3 principals. Beyond the Boundary, number 3, Give Me a Star, number 7, and Future Swing, number 8. It's, again, a little bit of a tricky start to the first leg of the pick 6. And it'll be, obviously you'll be looking for Chalima. I'll be looking for Spring High. But you obviously have to throw in those other 3 principal contenders.
So let's look to maybe take some exactors and swingers. Graham likes a bit of number 4, Spring High. I like a little bit of number 5, Chalima. And we can take those swingers and the exactors, and hopefully they come to the party for us. Let's swiftly move on to race number 5, which is over 1,600 meters. And once again, the order of the day, the betting, 2-1 the field. Number 5, Prevalence, and number 9, Ponte Pietre, both priced up joint 2-1 favorites. Number 7, Montien, is at 5-1, and then you're looking at 6-1 and upwards the balance of the field. Graham, race number 5 over the 1,600 meter trip. We got joint favorites at 2-1. Will either of them be your first selection, or are you looking beyond that for your outright selection?
I think I'm going to narrow this MR74 handicap to the two principal contenders. I think it does rest between number 5 Prevalence and number 9 Ponte Pietra. I'm marginally in the camp of number 9 Ponte Pietra. I think he's got plenty of scope for improvement. He's going to relish the step up to 1,600 meters. Very interesting. He made his debut over 1,600 meters and ran third behind Blackberry Malt. And ever since then, he stepped back in trip. So Dean Canama and Keegan DeMella, they're going back over the 1,600 meters. And for that reason, I'm expecting to see Ponte Pietra show a lot of improvement. But Prevalence's form is good. Third behind Tuda Fay, and then last time out, third behind Quasi for sure. That's good form. Good enough to win a race like this. I do think that number 7, Montine, is above average. It's going to be interesting to see how he goes in his first handicap race after winning his maiden last time at the third time of asking. But I think that Prevalence and Ponte Pietra might just carry too many guns for him at this stage. So for me, in all of my play, I'm going with the betting. I'm going with numbers 5 and 9 in all of my terms.
As we move along to race number 6, where they are betting 5-2 about number 8, Shantastic, 33-10 about number 4, Desert Rose, and then you're looking at 9-2 and better the rest. Graham, starting off with the 3-year-olds, number 8, Shantastic from the Dean Canamaz stable. She's won 2 of her 5 runs to date, and just looking at her last run over the 1,200, staying on the 1,400 these days could be exactly what she's crying out for.
Dean Canama has got some lovely runners. You know, he's got Rosh Kadesh in race 2, he's got Give Me a Star in race 4, he's got Ponte Pietra in race 5, and he's got Shantastic in race 6. He could win all 4 of those races, and you could do worse than take a Yankee with the Dean Canama runners. Obviously, Shantastic, I think, is the one to beat. Plenty of respect for number 4, Desert Rose. Gareth Van Zyle's horses continue to run well, and she comes into the race with good form, but I do prefer Shantastic, who receives 2 kilograms from Desert Rose. But this is a fillies and mares handicap. It's at the 81 level. It's some pretty decent fillies around, and I'm not sure just a 2-horse race between Shantastic and Desert Rose. I wouldn't be entirely surprised if a horse like, or a filly like Perfect Trust won the race, or Treasure Hunt, or even Philosophize. But you have to go with the form, and the form suggests that number 8, Shantastic, is going to cap off a fine day for Dean Canama and Keegan DeMella.
As you've heard from Graham Hawkins, Dean Canama looking for a red letter day, and who are we to argue with the stable? They'll be looking to fire on all cylinders. Moving on to the 7th race, which is over 1,800 meters, so the extended distance of 1,800 meters. Having a quick look at the betting, number 8, Hold My Hand, is the odds-on favorite, priced up at 9-10. They're then looking to go 5-1 and better the balance of the runners. Graham, when you look at number 8, Hold My Hand, barring that last run when something was reported amiss behind Make It Snappy, the penultimate run to Make It Snappy, a cracking third. She's run to Chia Bella and Canadian Summer. She sets the standard?
Well, the ratings tell the whole story. You know, you look at the best weighted column, and she's 16 points clear of the next best, which is number 1, Fun Zone. So it's hard to oppose number 8, Hold My Hand. She looks in a different class. This is a strange kind of a feature race for 3-year-old fillies, that they're all set to carry 60 kilograms. I'm not quite sure what the thinking behind that was. It's almost like a consolation fillies guineas. But they're running for 175,000 Rand. It is the headliner on the day, and it's impossible to oppose Hold My Hand. You might have a slight question mark about the distance, but I wouldn't read too much into the Paddock Stakes run, which was also Grade 1. She's running 2 Grade 1 races in her last 2 outings. She comes up against some fair sorts: Fun Zone, Silver Lynx, Love is a Rose, Broadway Girl. They've all got form in the lower divisions, but the ratings tell the story, and I think you can confidently go with number 8, Hold My Hand, as the nap of the day and the exotic bet banker of the day, because it would be a big surprise if she didn't win this sort of a race.
Got to agree with Graham. Number 8, Hold My Hand. I think the punters will be cheering her home, and she should be far too classy for this field. And as Graham mentioned, the structuring of the weights of this race, she has a lot in her favour. Two races left on the card, races 8 and 9. Race number 8 will be over 1,100 meters, due off at 16:45 as we bring up the slide. When you look at race number 8, number 9, Bluff on Bluff is your 18-10 favorite. They then go out to 5-1 and better the rest. Straight away, the thing that jumps off the page, Graham, about number 9, Bluff on Bluff, is that last feature run behind Mr. Cobbs was 2.35 lengths behind. If reproducing that type of run, does seem to be the horse to beat and looking to go all the way here.
Yeah, I think Bluff and Bluff is the one to beat. But Sheldon, do you trust him? He's not the most consistent around, and I wouldn't be surprised if this race produced a bit of an upset.
If you're looking for the upset, which would be your numbers to throw and to take on number 9, Bluff on Bluff? Because there's quite a few horses with a bit of a chance here, so who would you be throwing in to beat him?
Okay, well, obviously number 9, Bluff and Bluff, has to be the logical first choice. The logical second choice would be number 8, Wiley Jack, whose last couple of runs have been pretty good. But I'll be looking for number 1, Wyag. There's no logical reason for this because his last 2 runs have been very poor. But stepping back to the 1,100 meters, he showed good form. He beat Kariaku when winning his maiden. We saw how well Kariaku won over the weekend in the hands of Christoph Sumion. I think there's something there with number 1, Wyag. And I think that Greg Enyon has obviously been frustrated with the way he's been performing in his last 2 runs. But you go a little way back, second to Hammy's Hero, third to Beerenberg in his post-maiden efforts. And I think Wyag is the kind of horse that could suddenly bounce back and cause a bit of a surprise at 8-1. The other runner that I would certainly throw in is number 3, Persistence, off bottom weight of 52.5. I think that's going to run a big race over 1,100 meters, there and thereabouts. So 9, 8, 1, and 3 are the runners that I'll be focusing on.
Well, number 1, Wyag has dropped down from an 84 to an 80, so the handicapper has given him some relief, dropped him down the 4 points, and Graham's 100% correct. Horses like Bluff on Bluff and Wiley Jack, they are exposed, they're 4-year-olds, so they are vulnerable, and a horse like number 1, Wyag, just having a look at the price, 8-1 at this point in time, could certainly be the value in race number 8. 1 hurdle left to negotiate. That'll be race number 9 over 1,000 meters. Number 8, Distinction, is 7-2 ahead of number 3, Hunting Trip, at 4-1. It's then 6-1 and better the rest of the field. What would your play in race number 9 be, Graham, over the 1,000-meter trip?
I am expecting Justin Snaith to win the last race. If this was 1,200 meters, I'd be putting the lights out at number 3, Hunting Trip. I think she's got a touch of class as daughter of Trippy. She's got a wonderful pedigree out of that good race mare, Hawker Hunter by Jetmaster. 1,000 meters, though, might be a touch on the sharp side. And obviously, we have to respect the fact that Richard Faree has chosen to ride number 8, Distinction, who was a winner a couple of runs back, but lost the race in the boardroom when beating Whoa 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 and then being demoted into second. She's got good form behind that. We saw Live My Life run a good race over the weekend. Last about second to Pacific Green. So Distinction has to be the first choice. I still have a little feeling somewhere in the back of my brain that Hunting Trip is going to press her all the way to the line, even though Hunting Trip might find this a little on the sharp side. As I said, I think she's the best filly in the race. I think she's got a lot of class. I am expecting Justin Snaith to win the last, with 8 Distinction and 3 Hunting Trip to come home first and second. Beyond that, 11 Different Faces a chance. So does number 13, What a State, and a few others that you need to consider for the trifectas and the quartets. But as far as the place accumulator is concerned, the last leg of Jackpot 2 and the final leg of the Pick 6, I'm happy to go just with numbers 3, Hunting Trip, and number 8, Distinction.
Well, there you have it from Graham Hawkins. Thanks very much for being on the line. Just to get down to the nitty-gritty, the banker bet on the day we both agree would be race 7, number 8, Hold My Hand. That does look her race to lose. So we'll be bankering her in all our bets?
Absolutely. There's no logical reason to go against her. We know that there's no such thing as an absolute racing certainty. And races are not run on paper, they're run on turf. We've been told that over so many times in the past. But certainly, it's very difficult to oppose Hold My Hand, and she looks to have that race at her mercy.
Well, thanks very much, Graham, for being on the line and giving us your information for the meeting. Hopefully all goes according to plan and the horses arrive and do it for us on the race course. Thanks very much, Graham.
Thanks, Sheldon.
Thanks very much to Graham Hawkins running through the card for the Hollywoodbets Kenilworth meeting. Looking really forward to this midweek meeting after the Met weekend. Absolute festivities. So best of luck to you, the punter out there, and everybody, all the owners, the trainers, the breeders, the jockeys, and the punters for getting it all right on the day. And hopefully the horses bring it home.